Hey everybody, welcome back to the only channel that doesn't sugarcoat the circus. It's March 14th, 2026, and right now, as I'm recording this, spot gold has just been body slammed, down $50 to $100 in a single session, trading at $5,020 to $536 an ounce. Silver got absolutely wrecked, $80.50 to $81.50, down 3 to 5%, like it owes somebody money. And what are the geniuses in Washington doing? They were out there high-fiving each other over inflation under control and the strongest economy in history. Are you kidding me? Gold at $5 an ounce isn't a safe haven dip, folks. It's the screaming smoke detector in a house that's already on fire. These people are treating the American wallet like it's their personal ATM, and today's drop is just the smoke clearing for 5 seconds before the next blaze. They act like we're all supposed to cheer because the dollar got a little stronger for one afternoon. Stronger against what? Your grocery bill? Your rent? Your kid's future? Let's rip the mask off this clown show right now. Remember when they promised you transitory inflation? Remember when they swore printing trillions, shutting down energy, and flooding the border would somehow make life cheaper? Yeah, those same geniuses are now watching gold sit at $5,020 after a 68% year-over-year rocket ride, and they still gaslighting you. Spot gold per gram, $161. Silver at $2.60 per gram. This isn't market volatility. This is the market pricing in decades of lies. They told you in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and now 2026. Just 2 more weeks, inflation is peaking. Every single time the price of everything you touch went up, they moved the goalposts. Today's excuse? Stronger dollar and reduced expectations for quick Fed rate cuts. Translation: the same Fed they stacked with their donors just signaled they were not coming to rescue the housing bubble or the stock market with easy money right away. So the dollar bounces, metals pull back, and the talking heads on cable call it a healthy correction. Healthy for who? Not for the truck driver in Ohio filling up at $4.50 a gallon while oil spikes on the same Middle East tensions they helped create. Not for the single mom in California watching silver crash, but still paying double for everything at Walmart because the official CPI is a joke that doesn't include food, fuel, or rent. They broke every promise, then act shocked when the only thing that still holds value is shiny metal they can OED print. This is the same crew that called gold bugs conspiracy theorists in 2020 when it was $1,400. Now it's $5,000, and they're still calling the correction proof the system works. The arrogance is actually impressive. They want you to sell your gold and silver today. They want you to panic and run back into their paper assets. They want you to believe their narrative one more time. The question you have to ask yourself is, how has that worked out for you so far? This isn't just a pullback, it's a test of your conviction. They're shaking the tree, trying to get the weak hands to drop their assets before the next leg up. Because, let's be real, the fundamental problems haven't gone anywhere. The debt is still piling up, the spending is still out of control, and their solutions are just more of the same failed policies that got us here. What we're seeing is the last gasp of a broken system trying to maintain the illusion of control. Think about it. After years of unprecedented money printing and reckless spending, do you really believe a one-day dip in precious metals means everything is fixed? Or is it more likely a temporary blip in a much larger undeniable trend? The trend of currency debasement, the trend of governments failing to live within their means. This isn't financial advice, but I'm not selling. I see this for what it is, a fire sale, an opportunity to stack more of what's real while the rest of the world is distracted by the mainstream media's puppet show. They can play their games with the paper markets, they can manipulate the price for a day, a week, maybe even a month. But they can't change the laws of economics. They can't print their way to prosperity, and they certainly can't erase the fact that your purchasing power is evaporating day by day. This volatility is the sound of the system cracking under pressure. The real story isn't that gold dropped $100. The real story is that it's sitting at $5,000 in the first place. Have you ever noticed that every time a politician says, "This is good for the American people," what they really mean is, "This is good for us," the donor class? Let's break it down. Take today's stronger dollar. Who does that really help? It's fantastic for Wall Street banks who borrow in dollars and lend to the rest of the world. It's amazing for multinational corporations who can now buy up cheap overseas labor, all while you're still paying import tariffs that were never actually fixed. And it's a jackpot for the same hedge fund billionaires who were shorting silver just last week and are now cashing in at these new lower levels. But while all this is happening, who are the real beneficiaries of this entire precious metals bull run? It's the central banks, especially those in the BRICS countries. They're stacking physical gold like it and going out of style because they see the writing on the wall. Endless US debt, endless deficits, and endless wars. The dip we're seeing today, for them, it's just a discount. a cheaper entry point to buy even more. And who foots the bill for all of this? Who pays the corruption tax? You do, every single day. Think about it. Your paycheck buys less and less because they printed trillions of dollars, devaluing the very money you work so hard for. Your 401k might look like it's going up on paper, but that's only until the next inevitable crash. Gold, on the other hand, doesn't lie. For years, it has been the silent alarm warning us that the entire system is rigged against savers. When the big banks get into trouble, they get bailed out. When politicians need money, they get a flood of campaign cash. And what does the working class get? We get told to learn to code, while a little bit of volatility in the silver market wipes out an entire week's grocery budget. Let's bring this home, because these aren't just abstract numbers on a screen. When we talk about a potential $5,020 gold price, what that really means is the dollar you earned yesterday is worth significantly less than the dollar you earned back in 2020, especially when you adjust for what things actually cost now. And silver at $81 an ounce? Remember, this is the metal that goes into solar panels, electric vehicles, and critical medical devices. It's essential for the same green future they constantly push on us, even as today's price drop is blamed on concerns about industrial demand. Let's translate this for the average family. Gas prices stay painfully high because oil markets are reacting to the same geopolitical chaos. Your grocery bill never seems to come down because the Fed refuses to admit that real inflation is still running hot. And housing? Forget about it. They raise interest rates to fight the very inflation they created, making mortgages impossible for most people. So, families are forced to rent forever, while landlords just get richer. This dip isn't a gift. It's a temporary breather in a long war of attrition against your purchasing power. The same politicians who crippled domestic energy production, who spent trillions on infrastructure that never seemed to get built, who keep the border wide open, driving up housing costs and putting downward pressure on wages, they are the reason a safe haven asset is even necessary in the first place. Every time you buy an American Eagle coin and pay that 3 to 8% premium over the spot price, you're essentially paying the corruption tax twice. Once through the inflation that steals your wealth, and a second time through dealer spreads that only exist because the system itself is so unstable. The game is rigged, but understanding the rules is the first step to fighting back. Let's get straight to the cold, hard legal reality of what's happening. This isn't just about economics. It's an assault on the very idea of consent of the governed. The Federal Reserve's dual mandate was never intended to be a political slush fund, yet that's exactly what we're seeing. Rate decisions conveniently timed around election cycles, and transparency so low you need a flashlight and a subpoena just to figure out what's going on. When gold is flirting with $5,000 an ounce and silver is amplifying every single market move, that's the market voting no confidence in the fiscal policy coming out of Washington. This isn't some conspiracy theory, it's price discovery screaming what the polls are too afraid to say out loud. Politically, this volatility is absolute dynamite. Working class voters in crucial swing states feel it in their bones every time they fill up their gas tank or buy groceries. The party in power can spin it however they want. But when the gold to silver ratio is sitting around 62 to 1 and everyday people can't afford either metal, trust in the system evaporates. And let's talk about the cover-up, shall we? Compare the official inflation stats to your actual cost of living. The FedES own models keep failing because they intentionally ignore the things that actually matter to your family's budget. That's not incompetence, it's deliberate narrative control. By the time the next election rolls around, they'll want you to forget this dip, even as the long-term trend of rising prices keeps marching relentlessly higher. Real democracy doesn't just die in loud coups, it dies in the quiet, steady debasement of our currency. So here is the unfiltered truth. They are desperately trying to keep out of your feed. Today's drop in gold to $5,020 and silver to $81 changes absolutely nothing about the big picture. The system is still fundamentally broken. The politicians are still not telling you the truth, and the dollar is still being diluted by design. This correction is just the market catching its breath before the next major leg up, which will be driven by the exact same reckless spending, the same endless conflicts, and the same policies that benefit well-connected donors. Don't fall for the spin. Don't let them tell you everything is fine, while the only thing rising faster than their approval ratings is the price of the very metals that protect you from their incompetence. The working class has been footing the bill for their mistakes for far too long. Your savings, your future, your children's opportunities, they are all just collateral damage in a game you were never invited to play. If you're sick and tired of the gaslighting, and you want independent analysis that actually connects the dots instead of just reciting approved talking points, then smash that like button, subscribe to the channel right now, and make sure you turn on notifications. We are fighting against algorithm suppression every single day, and your support is the only thing that keeps real, independent voices like this one alive. I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you buying this dip? Or are you waiting to see if there's more pain to come? Gold bugs, silver stackers, let's hear your strategy. And as always, before you make any moves, check the live quotes on sites like Kitco, AppMex, or JM Bullion. Stay sharp, stay stacked, and never let them tell you the emperor is wearing clothes when the price of gold clearly shows he is naked. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.